Welcome to NAPA Echlin's product training series. My name is Jerry, and I'll be your guide as we explore the features and benefits of many of NAPA Echlin's products. In today's episode, we'll be featuring the NAPA Echlin Variable Valve Timing Program. I'll discuss market forecasts, coverage, manufacturing, and features and benefits. So grab yourself a pen and paper for notes, and let's get started. In the late 1960s, automakers began developing variable valve timing systems. Fiat is credited with pioneering the technology that was adapted by European and Asian manufacturers in the 1990s. The goal was to improve fuel efficiency, decrease NOx emissions, and improve performance. The growth of variable valve timing has risen at an astronomical rate in the 2000s. When only about 15% of vehicles produced in the year 2000 had variable valve timing, today virtually every vehicle produced has variable valve timing of some type. So as suggested by the growth curve you see on the slide in front of you, the opportunities for this category are just skyrocketing. It's clear to see how popular variable valve timing has become, but do you understand why it's become so popular and the standard for vehicle manufacturers? Well, why don't you watch this upcoming video? I think it'll help.
First, a quick lesson in engine valves and what they do. On this big old cutaway Ford Shelby motor, you can see them clearly. The intake valves open to let the air and gas into the cylinder. The exhaust valves open later to let the burned air and gas out of the cylinder, down into the exhaust. Valves are operated by camshafts. You see these guys up here, they turn with the engine, and these off-center lobes that are mounted on them push the valves open or not as they turn around. These are dual overhead cams. There's one cam for exhaust valves, a separate one for intake valves. Also notice this engine has 4 valves per cylinder, like many do these days, if you've got more area to let the engine breathe in and out. But here's the problem. A strictly mechanical system operates the same way at all RPMs and all engine loads. That's not ideal for MPG, horsepower, or emissions. You want to vary this behavior at different points of the engine's rev range. That's why we have variable valve timing. And it changes 3 parameters.
Valve timing. At what points in the engine's rotation do the valves open and close? Valve duration. How long the valve stays open once it is. And valve lift. How far a valve moves off its seat when it opens.
So varying all those valve events, as they're called, allows this engine, and most importantly, its electronic control unit, can constantly make a call to get the most power, the best MPG, and the lowest emissions all at once. Now, I could do an hour on why that works, but here are just a couple simple examples. If you leave this exhaust valve open longer on one stroke, you get all the exhaust blown out of there. That leaves a fully open and clean cylinder to take in the maximum gas and air on the next gulp, and that could give you more power. On the other hand, if you close that exhaust valve a little sooner, you leave some exhaust in here. That fills part of the cylinder, and therefore you take in less air and fuel the next time. That kind of creates a virtually smaller engine for a moment. That could give you better MPG. Now, the mechanisms that allow these valves to change their behavior are almost as numerous as there are manufacturers of engines. Here are just a few examples. First of all, some cars have multiple sets of lobes on their camshafts, and different lobes of different shapes are used at different points in the engine's operation. Here's another example. Sometimes you will change the relationship between the rotation of the crank and the rotation of the camshaft, so they aren't always locked one-to-one. Another technology is what's called an eccentric cam drive. So the engine's turning at a certain RPM, but eccentric drives here on the ends of the cams allow them to accelerate and decelerate their rotation. That gives you a degree of control as well. Now, who invented all this variable valve timing stuff? Interestingly, Fiat is often given credit as having the first mainstream production-ready system, dating back to a 1969 patent application. But today, you know it as multi-air. We saw it recently in the new Jeep Cherokee, now owned by Fiat, of course. It's their version of changing valve events using hydraulic pressure out of the oil system. The most famous kind of valve timing, yes, valve timing can be famous, is Honda's VTEC, the source of one of the biggest memes ever on the internet. And just about every car maker has their own brand of variable valve timing, and they push it hard, which is weird considering how few car buyers have any idea what it is. But now at least you've got a pretty good idea of how this one technology has dramatically improved how engines raise MPG, increase horsepower, and lower emissions. It's one of the great revolutions in engineering in cars in the last few decades.
Now that you have a good idea of how variable valve timing works, I need to explain how critical maintaining engine oil is. You see, for the variable valve time system to operate properly, the engine oil must be kept clean and at the proper level. The correct viscosity and type of oil must also be used, and the oil filter must have a drainback valve if the vehicle requires one. Now let me introduce you to the NAPA Echlin variable valve timing products. Our variable valve timing manufacturing unit in Białystok, Poland, is our most advanced engineering design and manufacturing facility. In 2006, we acquired the company that has been manufacturing for the OE since 1979. Our Poland facility is now 108,000 square feet, about 2.5 acres under roof, and is an IATF 16949 certified location. We manufacture 6 million ignition coils a year and 2.2 million sensors at this facility. The location has more than 750 employees, including more than 60 product engineers, who produce the highest quality products for optimum performance and maximum durability. All NAPA Echlin variable valve timing solenoids are manufactured to OE specifications. However, because oil contamination is a major cause of failure with variable valve timing systems, we have made huge improvements with screen filtration on units where it's required. At this facility, we currently manufacture variable valve timing for Ford, GM, Toyota, Nissan, BMW, Hyundai, and Chrysler, just to name a few. NAPA Echlin currently offers 520 SKUs in variable valve timing, 303 solenoids, 217 sprockets. When it comes to coverage, NAPA Echlin covers more than 95% of the applications in the market. The NAPA Echlin brand is a trusted brand professionals have installed for years. There's no need for them to go back to the OE dealer. We have the parts they need and the quality they can count on. Here are a few examples of the quality that professional technicians can expect when they open a NAPA Echlin variable valve time box. Designed for optimum performance and a long service life, we've used hardened steel componentry for durability and to limit sludge buildup. Our screen improvements include welded reinforcements to ensure that stronger connection between the screen and the body itself. You won't find a better, more reliable variable valve timing solenoid on the market today than what NAPA Echlin has produced. And when it comes to variable valve timing sprockets, we have the answer for that too. Our sprockets are exact OE matching, and they all include an OE torque-to-yield bolt where required. The sprocket tooth profile is designed to ensure quiet operation and a long service life. These sprockets restore and maximize horsepower and the torque curves that were previously lost. And less noticeable to the driver, but very important, improved emissions and vehicle efficiencies can be realized by replacing a worn sprocket with a NAPA Echlin variable valve timing sprocket. Design improvements include improving the friction between the sprocket and the rotor to virtually zero, with a much better match while maintaining the correct tolerances. Our engineering team also improved and developed the coil spring to ensure longevity and reliability. These improvements, as well as others, promote better performance in timing, phase response, oil loss, and the overall working life of the sprocket itself. Our quality processes are designed to ensure durability while functioning exactly as the system is designed. We use high-tech OE production test equipment to make sure that all of our variable valve timing solenoids meet the exact OE standard. The tests that we subject our solenoids to include coil resistance inductance, we measure flow characteristics, we monitor signal and frequency outputs, and we ensure the solenoid can withstand the harsh environment it will be operating in. Every solenoid is 100% end-of-the-line tested to guarantee it functions and performs flawlessly right out of the box. Finally, to always strive to have the best possible product on the market, we continually perform testing on our own solenoids as well as those from the OE and our competition. These next two slides are just some examples of the variable valve timing components NAPA Echlin has to offer. These 6 part numbers represent over 27 million vehicles in operation. NAPA Echlin offers you and your installers the finest, most complete line of variable valve timing components on the market today. You can sell and install NAPA Echlin variable valve timing components with confidence in both quality and reliability. To help you take this information to the street, we have several methods to choose from. We have marketing flyers you can download, additional training and web support online, as well as brand-specific websites like napaechlin.com, napabelden.com, as well as our YouTube channel for great products and service tips. And finally, if you have any questions regarding NAPA Echlin's variable valve timing components or any of our other products, please don't hesitate reaching out to the NAPA Echlin Regional Manager that services your NAPA DC. They'll be happy to help. Well, that's it for this episode. Please come back for another episode of NAPA Echlin's Product Training Series. Until next time, thanks for adding to your NAPA know-how.